last game of the night. This is a rematch. Probably had nightmares for people on the Clippers all off season. And, I almost thought in the Clippers opener against the Lakers, I said to a friend who's a Lakers fan, Clippers went up by 20 or whatever they went up by. I said, well, come on, man. The Clippers be clipping. You know what's going to happen. They're going to blow this lead. And, they did that. Speaking of blowing leads, the Clippers blew 3-1 lead to the Nuggets in the Western Conference semifinals in the bubble during the playoffs. As I said, they've been having nightmares about that, especially Paul George hitting the side of the backboard. They probably want to, start to exercise some of those demons, guys. Jarod was a man who picked the Clippers to win it all last year. The Clippers obviously did not win it all, but they're now on the redemption tour. Jarod, this game is interesting. I know they put it for the last game tonight, but I still think it's a very, very, very intriguing, interesting matchup. Opened with the line at 1. The line is now 2.5. Clippers are favored here. Do you like your Clips, or the Clippers going to be clippering?
Why they got to be my Clips, though?
That's your team and your boys, man. That's your team.
That was last year.
You
know what? I'm sorry, guys. I like how you guys are sticking to the Clipper mantra. That was last year. I apologize for all that, and I do not want to take anything away of having Discord on the show the way it is.
Why you got to bring up old stuff, man? Come on. No, look, I did pick the Clips last year because, look, on paper, they've got a ton of talent, and I still like them a lot this year. This team is remember, yes, they blew a 3-1 lead, but they were up 3-1, which means they were good enough to be at that level. And in every closeout game, they had a double-digit lead. I think a lot of that
means they weren't good enough to close.
Well, that means they had some chemistry issues, which hopefully – they figured out. But be that as it may, look, no matter what the Clippers tell you, we moving on, whatever, blah, 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 bullshit. They know they want to come out and win this game because they can't lose again, right? They're like, no. They want to make a statement. And, Denver, I said this in our first show, I was kind of like, I'm going with the under with Denver. I thought they were going to start the year slow. It didn't look great. They had moments last night against Sacramento. They didn't look great in the way that game ended. Defensively, I said I was concerned about them. That still remains. And, I think, look, they're gonna have some help being at the altitude in Denver, and there's no home court advantage, but the altitude is their home court, so they're gonna feel a little bit of that. And look, Jokic can do his thing, but look, Jamal Murray, we all said, is he going to be a guy who's going to come out and start repping like he did in the bubble? So far, game 1, looking like old Jamal Murray, where one night we're another night might be great. So I think that the Clippers will come out, win this game. I like them. It's minus 2.5 now, or what? Yeah, I like the Clippers in this game to start 2-0. But I would stay away from the over/under just because, again, the way the game could play out, particularly with Michael Porter hitting a bunch of late threes or something. I just don't know there, but I do like the Clippers to win this, and pretty easily.
All right, Murph, you liking the Clippers, or is last year just going to be more of the same for the Clips?
Well, I too picked the Clippers to win it all last year, so they hurt my feelings too, and I too, when they went up 20 against the Lakers opening night, I too was when the Lakers came right back. I was like, oh, here we go again. These clowns, they're gonna go up 20 and lose. But I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised that they ended up fighting out that game and winning that game. So, I mean, you can only take that as a good sign, I guess. And then, going into this Denver game, they have to have some sort of chip on their shoulder about, Denver knocking them out last year. They have to take this game personally. And on top of that, Denver did not look good in the first game. Michael Porter Jr., he is going to, obviously he had 24, I think. So he is going to be a staple in this offense. That's good to see. But I do think, the fact that the Clippers will take this personally, they can play good defense. Maybe they have a different identity under Tyronn Lue. We shall see. But I'm pretty strong on taking the Clippers here at minus 2.5. I think this is a game that they will get.
Okay. Well, we just got a comment that told us to get off the Clippers nuts, which is perfect. Which is perfect for the last person.
I'm off their nuts. I'm off.
Yeah, I'm like, when are we on the Clippers? Like, we've been getting on them. Even Jarod, who picked them, and Murph did too, have been critical of the Clippers. And I'll tell you somebody who doesn't like to be on anybody's nuts, Brian, Are you on the Clippers nuts for this?
Wait, B, real quick. You know, that's a Lakers fan that said that, right? 1,000%.
Yeah, don't.
Here's the thing. I actually have Denver winning this game. I actually think that Jamal Murray is going to have a very big night. It's going to be a night that's as big as the night that that video leaked of him getting head on Twitter.
I knew you were going to pick that up.
Speaking of nuts, no, I think that it's going to be. I think it's going to be a great Jamal Murray night. All you're going to see at the end of the night on the floor are just sneaker scuff marks, and Patrick Beverly's going to be down there. They're probably a couple pubic hairs. Because you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be crazy. I think Jamal Murray is going to have a 40-point game. And he's going to show us that the stuff that he did in the bubble, that he's still capable of doing that more often than he has shown, or that he did show in the first game of the season. Though I generally agree with Jarod. Jamal Murray is going to kind of be like, up and down this season. I don't think he's going to do what he did in the bubble on a nightly basis, because that shit was just absurd. He literally looked like a brand new player over the course of, a matter of weeks. I don't think but I do think that the Clippers, like, we need to relax on like how good they could actually be on a consistent basis against these top tier teams, because they showed us who they are last year to some degree, right? I just don't think they're going to have these two big back-to-back wins to start the season. And I think Jamal Murray is going to have a big game. I also think your boy, Jarod, MPJ, is going to have a good game. I don't really love him as a fantasy play yet. I kind of got to see it first. You know what I mean? I kind of got to see it play out for a sustainable amount of time. And I think Jokic is going to be Jokic for the most part. I don't trust that Paul George is going to have the same exact game that he had against the Lakers, though I hope he does, because he will be in my DFS lineup at only $29 on Yahoo. That's a very cheap price for somebody like Paul George. And then, with Kawhi Leonard, I kind of don't know. He didn't even play great against the Lakers. I don't really know. I don't know what kind of season he's going to have. I'm trying to project this, right? There's going to be some low management there. He also likes frequenting strip clubs, so we'll see if he gets himself in trouble at some point during the season. There's a video online if you don't believe me, and I think it's going to be an entertaining game, but I think the Nuggets will pull this one out, no pun intended.
So a lot of nuts, banging, a lot of ridiculous things on this show. I am not on the Clippers nuts. I'm like Bryan. I'm actually going with Denver in this game to bounce back. I would take Denver with that 2.5 points. I would take them. I think they're going to bounce back. You know why? It's simply because of this. The Clippers are going to clip. They're going to do what they're going to do. I can see the Clippers getting out to a nice 10-point lead and blowing it, and that would be so poetic. And I think the Clippers are not going to get the Christmas gift that they think they're going to get, and end up with another loss.
All this Clipper hate, man. What's going on out here in these streets? It's like Kerry Champion here, Clippers gone clip.
It must be Lakers fans.
It must be Lakers fans.
I'm not even a Lakers fan. Now, I do think the person that commented here don't matter.
He's definitely a Lakers fan. No doubt.
I'm pretty sure he or she is a Lakers fan.
No real quick on Jamal Murray, I just want to say, Dex, like no one here thinks he's going to be averaging 40-something points a game like he was in the bubble. That ain't what I'm saying. My point is, can homie average 20 points a game and like 7 assists? Like, can he do that?
Yeah. That's my thing with him.
It's consistency you want to see.
And y'all know I don't like when point guards are averaging like 4 assists per game or whatever the case may be. Like, that's kind of my thing with Jamal Murray too. He's not really a point guard to me. Like, as much as it's cool to see him go off for like 28 and 30 and things like that, I would like to see him get 7 assists per game or something along those lines.
I mean, damn.
Yeah, this season for him a lot is going to be about, can he be consistent? All right, so those are your Christmas Day games.